would love to know how trust played a big role in the process of making this film and how important it was to create a safe environment that allowed for such beautifully vulnerable performances.
Yeah, so I wrote, directed, and produced this movie. And something that I have to be mindful of when I'm writing is to not, I have to just let myself be creative and get out the writing that I want to get out. If I stop and go like, oh, you won't be able to afford that, or you won't be able to get that location, then that hinders my creativity. And the same went for this project in the sense that I went, oh my God, we're going to be doing this really intense scene, and what actor is going to want to play that scene, and who's going to, like those sorts of things. So I had to kind of put that to the side for a period of time. And then when it came time to, cast this project, I mean, I remember the first coffee I ever had with Lily after I had seen her tape for the role, but we went and had coffee, and I, had to figure out a way to just kind of say like, so are you comfortable doing these type of, this was just the preliminary question, but are you comfortable doing these types of things? And Lily said, yeah, no, I don't mind at all. And I was thinking, okay, I hope she really knows what she's
what she's getting into. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then, and the same went for Jonathan, who plays Tom, Jonathan Tucker. He had to be comfortable as well to do these things, and had to feel that he could be safe to play this character who's ugly at times. And, so we worked really hard to just create honestly a friendship between the three of us, whether that was a text chain that we've been on now for, almost a year or whatever, and just goofing around and getting meals together, and and then also having a conversation, the three of us we didn't rehearse very much. I didn't want it to be stale, but we rehearsed twice, three of us. And on that first day, having a vulnerable conversation about like, we have to be able to speak up if something is making one of us uncomfortable, or, open lines of communication. And yeah, Lily, I know you can speak to this as well about your relationship with Jonathan.
Yeah, well, I felt extremely safe from the very start. Jonathan is one of the kindest human beings on the planet, and is so incredibly comforting and supportive and transparent. He taught me a lot about acting on set, but he also became a really close friend of mine, and I trusted him 100% in every single scene we went into. And Jamie really facilitated that from before we even got on set. So I'm really grateful to have the team around me that I did. I also think getting the script and knowing that it was written by a woman, directed by a woman, produced by women, and shot by women, I was in very safe hands. And had that not been the case, I'm not sure if this movie could have been made. So I'm really incredibly grateful that I was able to be a part of it.
Oh, what a beautiful experience. I think it's so true. Intimate scenes, at least for me, should really move the story forward. And in this film, they are so integral to the film. And I think that and it's so crucial that scenes like this, when telling this specific story, are shot through that female lens and told through that female perspective. How did y'all work together to bring the intimate scenes to life? Did you have an intimacy coordinator, or how was can you talk a little bit about that process?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had an intimacy coordinator. It was the first time that I had ever worked with one. I had directed a number of shorts, but intimacy coordinators, unfortunately, are something that are still relatively new to this industry. But I remember, Jonathan obviously works a lot and has been on a ton of TV shows in recent years. So he had been around them before. And he said this thing to me that I thought was really helpful. He was like, it's almost like they're a stunt coordinator. They're there to help you when you need them, but they're not directing it. They have the gear and the modesty garments and the supplies and all the things we need, but like, she's over there and we can go to her when we need her, And so again, that intimacy really came from, or tackling those intimate scenes really came from me, Lily, and Jonathan and our cinematographer in terms of how she and I wanted to shoot these scenes, how we were going to do this comfortably. Is there something that Lily isn't comfortable with? Is there something Jonathan doesn't want to do? Like, those sorts of things. And then me talking about what I wanted the scene to feel like and what I thought these characters were feeling in this scene. And, for Lily's character, this is this very exciting, powerful moment for her. And yeah, Lily, feel free to add to that, of course.
I also just think that working with such a small crew and developing such close relationships with everybody on set, whether it be the grips or the sound people, it really just helped me feel as comfortable as possible when working on those scenes. And yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what we love to hear. And the result is this, like I said, this beautiful piece of art that y'all created together. For me, watching this, Leah represents so many kind of women's before stories, these stories that we rarely see of how young women can be manipulated and taken advantage of at vulnerable times in their lives. And in the past, I feel like women, when we meet women on screen that work in sex industries, for example, they're wrongfully labeled and judged. Why was Leah's, story an important one for you to explore, Jamie?
Well, I really wanted to, first and foremost, it was personal for me. I had had some experiences as a young woman and as a girl. I think it's important I say girl because I was very that when I began looking back on them as an adult, I started to realize that what I thought was happening, maybe that really wasn't the case. And so that is part of what, and I got in touch with feeling something for younger Jamie, feeling worried about her and sad for her and protective of her. And that was really why I had the need to explore the story. But then additionally, when you're asking about Leah, I wanted to show that this can happen to anyone. I think that a lot of people can make a judgment about that happened because of this, or she's stupid, or blaming. And I found from my experiences and also my research and talking to other women that this can happen to anyone. Any sort of vulnerability can be used to abuse or exploit somebody. And that's why I really wanted to tell this story.
Yeah, and it's incredible. I've had that same sort of experience of looking back on my events that occurred when I was a girl and with sort of meg adult eyes. And it can be heartbreaking to kind of go down that path. Also very therapeutic and cathartic. But, as girls, we are objectified before we even know what that means or we can even understand our own bodies. And I think that when we meet Leah, she's at this point too. I have to say, I want to commend you, and this is in the writing, for never talking about or bringing up virginity. I think that when we meet Leah, she's a sexually active girl, and it shouldn't matter who she slept with or when she lost her virginity or even what is virginity. It's something I think is so important to see that I'm really excited for girls and young women to watch this film and to relate to that. It really sheds light on the heartbreaking and harsh realities of what it means to be a female adolescent still. Lily, what do you want girls and young women to kind of learn from watching this film? What do you hope for them?
There's not necessarily a lesson I'm trying to teach.
Yeah.
I just hope that they're able to see themselves in Leah. and feel some sense of comfort and representation in that. I know I did when I first picked up the script, and especially getting to play this role and relive some of those experiences that all too many women unfortunately have to go through. It was an incredibly cathartic and almost kind of redemptive experience for me as an actor. And so I hope that just by watching our film, people can experience a little bit of the same. And I hope it challenges people's perceptions of what a predator looks like and what grooming really means.
Yeah, exactly. And I also love Lily too. This is in your performance. You played her with such a strength. Like when I think of Leah, I don't think of a naive girl. I think of a smart, capable, independent girl who but that's to your point, Jamie, but that's what she is. She's a girl. And we're susceptible at that time for, we're very susceptible. And I want to say that just like it sounds like the environment that was created behind the scenes was incredibly safe. That's the film that y'all created for us as an audience, a safe place, I think, to, like you mentioned, Lily, for us to reflect on our own experiences, whether they're currently happening or whether they happened in the past. And hopefully we can start having these conversations, especially women to women, woman to woman, and explore these things that I think still haunt us and still need to be sort of, talked about. So thank you.
I just want to jump in and say in relation to that, this is adapted from a short that I made, and it was this kind of profound experience that at festivals with that short, or after it premiered online, people would contact me or come up to me and just immediately tell me their story, like women would tell me their story and how they related. And that short was, way, way, way more subtle of a relationship than the feature. But that was a huge part of why I wanted to extend this. I feel confident that women are going to relate in a really deep way.